Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I wanted to get back into part 3 of the food series. I feel really bad that this has taken a really long time. Part 3 is where I want to take food labels, and my original plan was I would go into the store, kind of like undercover, pick some bags, and we would just go over the analysis right there, kind of everyday things that are on the shelf. But right as I got to where I was going to film that, then we had all the lockdown and quarantine, and so I wasn't able to do it. So I came up with this idea where I could just kind of maybe virtual shop, and I'm going to try to do a screenshot on the computer and pick a couple bags of food, kind of like the last 2 bags of food that clients asked me about, and do a little analysis of the label, kind of a virtual thing. So I've never done that before, so hopefully this turns out okay and isn't too weird. But even though stores are starting to reopen, I just kind of wanted to still operate on abundance of caution, since there's no point in going out when we can shop right now at home. So we're gonna go ahead and do 2 bags, the last 2 bags that clients mentioned to me. One is Purina One, the second is Purina Beneful, so it's kind of nice they're both Purina. We're gonna go ahead, pick up the labels, look through them, and we're gonna do a head-to-head over both of those products. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope this works out okay. All right, so we're gonna see if this works here. My plan is I'm going to go to walmart.com because I feel like most people have a Walmart, and then I've already kind of made sure they have these foods. So the first one that I thought we would do is the Purina One. We're just gonna go ahead and select the first one here, which is the Purina One Natural Dog Food Smart Blend Lamb and Rice formula, and you get your choice of a couple different size bags, and it will be anywhere between $12.49 and $44.99. So here is the front of the package. We've got a picture of the kibble here, which is just a regular brown kibble. And we've got the name of the food on there, lamb and rice formula. I'm not sure what the designator term means, formula. I don't know the legal definition of that, so we're not going to be able to analyze that, but it does say it's a lamb and rice formula. What we really want is this here, which is the back of the bag. And we're going to try to zoom in as much as possible. And what we have here is our guaranteed analysis. We've got our calorie content, and then way down here in the smallest portion, like we talked about, is going to be the AFCO statement, and we're going to start there. So I'll go ahead and read it because it's super small. It says, animal feeding tests using AFCO procedures substantiate that Purina One Smart Blend Lamb and Rice formula provides complete and balanced nutrition for maintenance of adult dogs. And so the first part right here says animal feeding tests using AFCO procedures. So that is what we want. This is not a formulated food. This dog food was actually fed to dogs and tested using the AFCO procedure. So that's a big check mark in my book. The second part that's also very important says that it is providing complete and balanced nutrition for maintenance of adult dogs. So it is not an all life stage. It is specific to the adult, which is what we are evaluating for today. And so both things on here are really good. The second thing we are going to look at here is the guaranteed analysis, and so I put on the desktop our little reference for what we want. So the first thing we're looking at is crude protein. It's listing a minimum, so 26% is the least amount this food can be. We want it to be between 15 and 30, so I think that's great. Crude fat, again, another minimum, can be more, but 16% at the least, and between 10 and 20, so we're good there. Fiber at 3%, we just need it to be less than 5, so we are good there. Calcium, we're at 1%, and that's a minimum. So at the very least, this food is 1% calcium, and so here is, we're still in the reference range. 1% is at the top end of the range. Where you may run into issues, if you have a pet with renal disease, the calcium you really need in this range, because excessive calcium in these guys is going to be a lot of strain on the kidneys. And so at a minimum of 1%, it means it could be more than that, just can't be less. So there's a good possibility that this food might err to be a little bit high on calcium, so a bit of a caution on a pet that maybe is a senior or has some underlying kidney disease. Phosphorus, again, is a minimum, and that's at 0.8%. Same thing. It's a little bit, is still in the reference range technically, but a little bit of a concern because it is a minimum. We could be more than that. And so same thing as with the calcium, caution with pets that are seniors or have a underlying kidney problem. Vitamin E, we're looking at 250 international units per kilogram. We really would like that to be greater than 400. I don't know that vitamin E is a deal breaker for me. Would like it to be, in this range, but we are falling a little bit short on this one. Chloride's not listed. We talked about that as being nice to have, but unless you have a specific need. A lot of pets can handle, fluctuations in the chloride and the sodium content. If you really are interested in that, this is one where we're going to have to call the company. That's the breakdown of the guaranteed analysis. I think all in all pretty good. The ingredient list is here. We talked about how that's not super high on my list as an important thing. They list lamb as the first ingredient, which is what they claimed. They've got rice flour, whole grain corn, whole grain wheat, chicken byproduct meal, corn gluten meal, soybean meal, beef fat. Interesting things to kind of point out. A lot of people will pick this food because it says lamb and rice formula, and they're thinking, maybe my pet has a food allergy, and I want to do a limited ingredient diet, and so I'm picking something that says lamb and rice. So just by looking at these ingredients, you can see, yes, lamb is in here, but we also have things like chicken byproduct meal, which is chicken, beef fat, which is beef. So it's important to note that if you need to have your pet on a food trial, if your pet has been prescribed a food trial, we want to be on a specific diet meant for that. It's very difficult just to pick a food off the shelf because, as you can see, we think, at first glance this is just lamb and rice, but there are a lot of other things in here besides lamb and rice. Nothing wrong with the diet, just is not suitable for a food trial if that's what your pet needs. Okay, so let's go on to the next one, and that's going to be the Beneful dog food. And so we're going to go ahead and pick this one here, which is the Purina Beneful Dry Dog Food Originals with real beef. Okay, so this bag comes in a couple different sizes. You can do 3.5, 14, 28, and 40. It's going to cost you anywhere between $5.67 and $33.98. Very nice, colorful bag. And the first thing that I'm noticing that's important to take into consideration is they are saying this is with real beef, which means it only actually has to have 3% beef in it based on the legal definition. And right under it, you can see it says beef is the #1 ingredient. So again, they can manipulate those ingredients just to kind of make things sound better. But even though beef is the #1 ingredient, it really only has to be 3%. And then there's accents of spinach, peas, and carrots. So I don't know what an accent is, but you've got accents of spinach, peas, and carrots in there. We've got a picture of the kibble. So we've got, we've got some different shapes there, which are nice if that's kind of thing that you like. The one thing I would say I like about it is we do have some various colors, and so those colors are usually put there by dyes, and our pets really don't care the color of their food as far as I am aware, and so those things are put there for us and are really extemporaneous. They don't really provide any nutritional anything for the pet, so I tend to avoid dog foods that have colorful kibbles. I mean, it's clear that that's not real pieces of carrot or peas or anything like that, so not really necessary. And let's see if we can find what we need on the bag. We need the AFCO statement and the nutritional statements. Okay. So I had to go to PetSmart.com to get a good picture of the bag in order to go over this with you guys. So back to the Beneful Originals with real beef. The AFCO statement on this says, Beneful Originals with real beef is formulated to meet the nutritional levels established by the AFCO dog food nutrient profile for maintenance of adult dogs. So we're kind of 50-50 on this one. This food was not tested. This food was formulated, so it wasn't actually fed to dogs to see how they perform before it was marketed and packaged and bagged and all that. But it does meet the nutritional levels for maintenance of adult dogs, so kind of 50-50 on that one. We've got our ingredient list here. We'll come back to that, but what we want is, for now, is the guaranteed analysis. We've also got the calorie count there, so we can calculate calories. So let's go to the guaranteed analysis and see how we stack up. So protein, 23%. That's good, right in the middle. Fat, we're at 12, a little bit on the low side, but it's still fine. It's a minimum, so it's very likely to be higher than that. Crude fiber, maximum at 4%. It's good, we just need less than 5. We've got the calcium, again, we're at that 1%, and so it's a minimum. It's going to be potential to be more than that in the actual bag, so we have to be careful. This particular food is not listing the phosphorus, so we don't have that. We'd have to call to verify that with the manufacturer. Vitamin E on this one's even lower, so this last food was 250. This one is only 100 international units, so this one's got pretty low vitamin E. I suppose you could always supplement that if you wanted to. I kind of like the idea of having it all in the bag so I don't have to do supplements. And so, you know, that's a little bit lacking there. Let's go up to the ingredients and just see. So just as they said, beef is the #1 ingredient. It is, but it is only going to be required to be 3%. So we already know that can be a little bit deceiving. Again, they've got some whole grain, corn, barley, rice, whole grain wheat, corn gluten, chicken byproduct, beef fat, a couple other things in there. We've got egg and chicken flavor, etc., etc. So I don't like to put a whole lot of time looking into that unless you're really, really, really into the ingredients. But these things can be manipulated so much that we really have to be careful. Okay, so that's kind of the stack up between, I guess we did the Purina Beneful and a Purina One brand, and so you can kind of compare those two and see if that's something that will work for your particular pet. It's always individual. If you like these foods, that's great. If your pet does great on them, that's awesome. I'm just kind of trying to do this to help us be educated and learn how to interpret the bags. That way we don't get sucked into marketing, that we know what we're feeding and we feel good about what we're feeding. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know. I've never done a screen capture before, but given the circumstances, I thought maybe it would be kind of a fun thing to do, kind of some virtual shopping. So if you like this type of video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and maybe leave me a comment on a food that you'd like me to investigate for you, and we can do a little virtual shopping or maybe in-store shopping in the future. We'll see how things happen, and I guess we will see you next time. See you soon. Bye.